Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top four and nothing more. Andy, I am so glad to see you. I'm so glad that you made it to the show. For everybody that is out there, it was quite a journey, if you will, over in Slidell. What's going on, man?
We are very used to hurricanes in these parts, but not so much tornadoes. So yesterday had an EF2 that touchdown, just got upgraded to an EF2. I guess that's upgrade. I don't even know how this categorizing of this goes, but unfortunately tore up a good portion of Slidell. Being a pastor, being a member of a church, we're boots on the ground right now with recovery efforts. Convoy of Hope actually literally today just got in town and is using our parking lot as kind of our stationing point. We've been setting up a distribution line that we're going to do tomorrow. So going and cutting people's, trees up that have fallen in the yard. It's outside of that, it's been normal ministry, right? But yeah, so I wasn't sure I was going to make it tonight. Kind of at the buzzer. I just got done, going on the streets and handing out supplies, but I'm here. And I was able to eat dinner scarf it down right before I got in. So,
dude, my wife just come in with the real deal Holyfield, little Whataburger, brother, and I didn't even eat it. It's sitting out there waiting. So we got to get this thing going so I can eat, man. But so great. I'm kind of devastated, to be honest. Hey, look, 7 folks out there, say hello as you are coming on in. But hey, I'm kind of devastated. There are I've seen a lot of old places and old things back from when I was a kid that had kind of gotten destroyed out there. A lot of businesses, hotels, but one is SBBA, and although SBBA has been kind of a wreck ball of a dying league, literally, man, I kind of got choked up knowing that my dad and my family kind of helped build all that, and seeing that fence down was kind of hurtful. But I'm just glad my house survived. Your house survived. I called all my sisters, messaged all my friends. Seems like everybody's okay. There was some space where it seemed like there might be a flood coming on up into my house, and we survived that. So, but speaking of floods and water, man, it's pouring the last few days here. We just got back from St. Augustine. We had a great time with Bert. Man, I got to watch the sunrise over in St. Aug, and man, it was just a good time, a good break. School's back. I got 6 weeks left, Andy, till summertime. I am so excited. Camp. I'm so excited for convention that's coming up, and we'll talk more about that as we get in. But man, Bert, thank you. Modern Day Breakfast Club, thank you for being a part. As the Modern Day Breakfast Club kind of pops in, and I see Spine Ticks at least was here. Sith, if you are still out there, man, guys, if you're not a part of the Spine Ticks community, you are missing out. If you're a creator, jump on over there. This guy has gotten like 20,000 subscribers in the last week. He has learned, he's cracked the algorithm, and I'll just tell you, not the only reason I want to be over there, but I will say it is a fun thing to see creators of all walks of life, all types of people come and join in and just kind of support each other, man. And it's YouTube is hard, and YouTube has gotten a lot easier in meeting Bert and Sith and all those guys, and kind of building a little bit of the community. So, man, we have a fun show tonight.
Yeah,
we have a super fun show. Yeah, man, absolutely, Sith. I see you down there. Thanks for the kind words. Man, we're going to have you on the show here soon. We got to come up with a topic and what we're going to do, but probably something in comic books, because that's your thing, or cards. But yeah, we'll jump into that. Man, we are going to have an excellent show tonight. I have, guys, stick around if you're here. I see 12, 13 people popping in. I am a veteran, and I spent time in Operation Iraqi Freedom. I was in Iraq. And my commanding officer is our guest today. And oh man, I've only got to literally talk to him via satellite 2 or 3 times. Other than this, I cannot wait to reconnect. So Andy, we're going to jump into this thing. We always let our fans and our hosts pick the topic. Our topic today is John Hughes movies, but not just the movie. We're talking top 4 songs from those movies. I'm excited. Let's get it.
Let's get into it. I'm excited, man. Hey, dude, I'm thrown off like crazy. I'm worried about my list tonight. With as busy as it's been, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I got me a little list. I actually used paper again for a first time in a while.
Throwback. I was gonna say this is actually probably one of the most specific Rushmores that we've done in a while, and as far as I can think back to like pop culture cats, right? I see we got Feral Inferno in the house. What's going on?
Feral is rocking one of the best video games ever right now over his channel. He is playing Symphony of the Night, and man,
Yep.
I just am so entertained reliving that with you, Feral. Thanks for being here, man. But yeah, it's kind of a weird one. It's one of those where you think there's more out there until you dig in.
Yeah.
And although there's lots of really good movies, what I found was that there are some of these movies that the soundtracks weren't memorable, if you will. But
Yeah.
before we start chatting about it, let's welcome our guest. So I kind of preluded to it. My captain, my captain. Yeah. So he is, we spent a lot of time out in the desert, a bunch of guys, couple ladies, mostly it was all guys, hanging out. And he was basically one of my commanding officers in CMAT. That was Coalition Military Assistance Training Team. And I still have the coins. I still got so many things up here. I got some gifts I got from Iraq right there on the shelf. A lot of things. But we spent a lot of time partying it up, playing PlayStation 2, playing, building tables, doing all kinds of stuff. Let's welcome to the show. Everybody give a good comment down there in the bottom. He's in the comments already. Welcome, Captain Alex Thyne. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how we doing? Look at that. Look at that right there.
Wait, time out.
You got yours too? Like that. 20 years later. 20 years later. Yep. There you go. There you go.
There it is.
There it is. Our farewell gift from
Senior Airman Kirk Plaisance. Now, if you know what this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is a tool, an e-tool, but it's a tool to dig a hole where you can use the restroom.
Yes.
Now, that's what the main part of this is. Hey, my sister's in the house. Hey, what's up, Tracy? Yeah. So, so it says you helped break ground for the new Iraqi army. Thanks. Coalition Military Assistance Training Team, September 03 to January 04. What's your date?
Mine just said March 2004. So apparently I must have left in March or April. I don't remember.
So you left about a month and a half, 2 months after me.
Yep.
So man, I loved every minute about being in Iraq. Except missing my family, obviously. We were in a very different location than some of our friends. We were more safe. Listen, before Christ, we had alcohol. We had deliveries at the door we were getting. We had all kinds of fun. We were having parties. We were watching The Sopranos. I've talked about this.
I have too.
Over and over. Night at the Roxbury. Over and over. We've talked about all the one-liners. Now, I can't say all the one-liners anymore. That were all over our refrigerator. I built a table out there that you have the table somewhere in your house, right?
It's in my garage.
Yeah. It's amazing. So it's a tabletop. He took the tabletop home and had it shipped home. But it's got like all of our pictures laminated inside of it. Man, what a great time. Now, look, I see some new people in there. Tracy, welcome to the show. James, Tracy, you've seen the show before, but you have never seen it live. And James, welcome. You guys are all part of the Summit Squad. This is for you.
Yeah.
Now, as you're you're new, kind of joining in, this is what we would ask you to do to be a part of the Summit Squad. Obviously, if you love what we're doing, hit that like button, subscribe, be a part of the family. We're going to do music for the rest of this month. Then we're jumping into movies and TV for the next 2 months, and then nostalgia, sports, food, and then we wrap back around the beginning of the year. It's video games and music again. That's our 6 topics. We do top 4s. We have guests on. We're a great community. If you're here, by all means, plant some roots, join in, and this is how you do it. Subscribe, and in the comments, put your top 4 songs from John Hughes movies. Now, don't jump the gun.
We got one.
Because we're going to tell you what ours are.
Yeah.
Don't jump the gun. We're going to go 4, 3, 2, 1. Now,
yes. Got 2 boys in the scary
got
pops.
one in the chat. 2 boys and they're scary pops. Welcome. So,
we got a couple people in here.
Alex, tell me about what you've been doing, man. Like, what's going on in your life? When did you get out the military? What's your new job? I know you moved back to Wisconsin. You're a Packers fan, a Cubs fan. Tell the world. Tell them a little bit about you.
Well, like I said, it's been 20 years since we've seen each other, okay? So I was pretty much the commander of the land of misfit toys, as Kirk likes to say. I mean, it really was. I mean, you think about, we were 30 minutes from the Iranian border. Nobody knew who we were. Nobody knew what we were about. I mean, I tell people what we did. They're like, seriously? You're in Iraq for, what did you do? A lot. Just nobody really knew about it, right? I mean, that's honestly what it was. So yeah, I stayed in the military for until 2010. I left the military and decided to go become a civilian.
Oh, did we lose you?
We lost him temporarily. He's frozen out of fear.
I knew I still heard him, but then he.
I think we got you back, Alex.
Yeah, you're back. Yeah, you're back.
I'm back. No, I actually went to go work for the Boeing company for about 8 years out in Seattle. I loved it out there. Loved the Pacific Northwest. Great area to be in. Yes, we actually flew by a few of those biblical sites in Iraq. So we had a flight medical team with us. So we did fly around in the helicopter quite a bit. In fact, one of the guys who was with us, we actually promoted him. Diker. We promoted Diker. First time promoting somebody in Iraq on a helicopter flying by the Iranian border. So, I mean, stories.
Like we were in what, 3? Was it 2 or 3? We were in 2 or 3 of the helicopters.
Right.
And we were like
buzzing
flying over the border, and he's getting pinned. Dude, I'm promoting one of my favorite moments of all time.
I'm promoting him in a helicopter
with Huey and all the guys. Man, it was so much fun.
Well, as I say, it's like we never even asked permission for this. I think we just said, "Yeah, we're going to go do this," and nobody said no. I mean, we could have started a conflict. You realize that, right?
Yeah, I share this. We all didn't drive like Hummers.
No,
we all drove like I had a Jeep, a black Jeep Cherokee. Yep. We called it the Black Hawk, and the music was cranked, and because everybody else had a white truck. I had this black, like, bad to the bone out there.
Right. Jeep
Cherokee, leather seats, music was blaring. And look, I was always playing like AC/DC, dude, I remember this. But I had to work on all the ammo. So the ammo was like way out away from the base because we had to keep it away from the base. So I had to drive all the way out in the desert. Man, I was ramping the heck out of that thing, hitting the dunes and all that. And we drive out there every day. It was so much fun. Dude, we had a blast. Now, I miss being home, but it was only like 4 or 5 months. I said, out of this, I was the one who was responsible for these guys doing this stuff. So when he's jumping dunes, he's not getting yelled at. I'm the one getting yelled at for them. So including, we had water balloon launch fights that we had from building to building. Dude, I still have the water balloon launcher. And look, I still have it.
Yeah, it's a good air.
It's in my closet.
Yep.
But I remember when we did it to, what was it, the Marines? Who was it that we did? And they flipped out on us.
Oh, well, all I just remember is that all of a sudden, all you guys were there. We're on the top of the rooftops. We're not, 100-yard water balloons. My commander shows up, and all of a sudden I turn around and all you guys are gone. Like, you left me on the rooftop by myself.
Dude, we went down that thing. We went down that thing years as fast as you could. We were out like
You left me up there.
crackheads. We were gone. We were like, we're out of here. But here's what it is. There were 3-man water balloons launchers. One holds one side, one holds the other. You pull out the middle and you shoot. And
Yeah.
these water balloons like
Easily hit 50 yards.
yards.
Right? Yeah.
And the BX or the commissary was about 100 yards away. And we would just nail it while they were going in. Or there'd be like people marching by and we'd shoot it over top. Oh my gosh, it was crazy.
Well,
now, look,
well,
one of my last favorite stories, and we'll jump in, guys.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite stories to tell while I was out there. And people are like, really? That happened? Yes. It's absolutely happened.
We could write
We had the Washington Post show up on our base. Now listen how crazy this is. Washington Post shows up on our base. Let me tell you what we did. We trained the Iraqi army. Now, we did the first, I was there for the first 4 battalions. Now,
I had the first 8.
You had, they did like 3-4 more in that next couple months.
Yeah.
So, when I left, they were at number 4. And we had just moved to some new space. We had moved from across the whatever. We were there when Saddam Hussein got caught. We were there for all that crazy stuff. That was fun, seeing them happy and all out in the rocks. But we were training the Iraqi folks to be on the coalition side, on our side, to fight against the bad guys. So we were trying to enable them to be self-sufficient and do what they needed to do. So listen, this is what happened. We had a graduation ceremony for Battalion 4. It was the 4th one. It was the last one I was there. We had Apache helicopters over top. We had Black Hawks over top. We had all kinds of stuff. Now, I'm an Air Force guy, so I'm like, this is wild. This is amazing. And so all this is going on, and Washington Post shows up at our door and comes in and takes notes and shares on the website that night every military operation thing we were doing.
Yeah,
like
always.
Our when our security changed, when people showed up at the door, how you had to get in. This guy who was supposed to be on our side, supposed to be coming in as a very non-biased news reporter to get the news, goes out and basically puts us all in danger. It was the craziest thing to think about. I was like, bro, I can you really believe they put this out there? Dude, I was so pissed off. I was so mad. I was like, I've got like 2 weeks left. You're trying to get me killed out here.
Yeah, and like I said, I was the one who's playing crisis and damage control with all that stuff too. So I mean, it was crazy. But I mean,
how about when the lightning bolt hit the air conditioner?
Yep, blew it out completely.
I thought the building blew up. I thought it blew up. Anyways, we'll talk more about that. Dude, Alex, I'm so glad you came on. Andy's getting bored because he has no idea what we're talking about.
Sorry, Andy. But I do want to call out to some of the people I see in the comments and chat. So, like I said, I moved back to Wisconsin. I mean, I left Wisconsin 25 years ago, probably now 30, and did the whole military thing, went away, went to college, and then came back in 2020 and moved to this great neighborhood here called Moose Creek neighborhood. There isn't any moose. I haven't seen any at all. Not really much of a creek. It's near Green Bay, Wisconsin, so it's coming back to my Packers. And I do want to throw up, the shirt I'm wearing is actually, one of the things I want to think about. So Mike Schmidt, who I saw in here, so I'm gonna call Mike out. Unfortunately, we had a loss. Our neighborhood is a very close-knit neighborhood, which is dread. There's a perfect neighborhood to live in, especially when you're raising kids. And unfortunately, Mike lost one of his daughters about a little over a year ago. And I mean, the community, and his daughter was a freshman, and the community really bonded together. And it still does, the school, the community, neighbors, you name it. So we wear this shirt, kind of and I don't know if you can see it, but it says Art Array Clothing since established in 2008. And we wear this and we sell it. You walk around the neighborhood, people are wearing the shirts and apparel. And it's one of those things to just kind of want to think about, families that lose, people way too young in this world. And it happens daily, but it's never something you ever want to go through. So really want to call out, just like I said, it's a great neighborhood to be in just because you can see the community bonding together, especially over losses like this, but also to celebrate the great times to keep the memory alive. So So that's why I'm wearing this shirt. But yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, Andy, I'm sure you'll say the same. And we'll talk a little bit more about this later. But we're pastors, and as pastors, we're in the youth side of things, the children's side of things. But you still deal with family issues. You still deal with. I'm a teacher now. Andy was a teacher, and man, Mike, my heart goes out to you and your family, and I will be praying for you. Regardless, we're praying, folks, and you'll learn a little bit more about that a little bit later. But I will say this: welcome to being here. And if you ever need just someone to talk to, pray, you can always kind of reach out to us. That's who we are. No matter if you met us for the first time or we're best friends for the last 20 years and reconnecting. So that's the honest to God truth. So man, my condolences, like some of the people in the chat are saying, but man, love you guys for being here. Thank you for spending a couple minutes with us tonight. We're gonna talk about 80s movies. We're gonna talk about 90s movies, but we're gonna talk about the soundtrack side of it.
Yep.
And so you're going to go first, Alex. And we always say, what is your criteria? The criteria is basically, this is the thing. We've realized that watching the talking heads in sports, you know, you're out there in Green Bay, right? You may holler out Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, even Jordan Love as being some of your favorite quarterbacks of all time. If you're from Chicago, which is where you live for most of the time, and that's where John Hughes is, spent a lot of his movies at, those guys probably don't like those. And so you may have a different Rushmore of football players than they would have in Chicago, especially down here in New Orleans, Atlanta, in the Southeast. But Andy is a
just so you know, Alex,
so
just
I
so
will
you
say
know,
that.
Alex, in my top four quarterbacks, Brett Favre is in there. Brett Favre is one of my favorite. He's the reason I got into football. So mad props to that. Rodgers is not in
said, we have realized that your Rushmore is more subjective than objective.
Right.
You know, we always want to say who's the GOAT. Is it Jordan or LeBron? Is it Brady or Mahomes or Breeze or whoever, Montana? It's really where you're from, who you were raised with, what your favorite teams, how you were like when you were born. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, my dad would say Mickey Mantle was the greatest player of all time, and I might not just like say that's wrong, but I know some of the guys that are playing nowadays will probably give him a run for the money. Especially Spine Ticks will tell you it's probably Barry Bonds, but Barry Bonds had his little thing, and I don't care. So we're going to talk about what's your top four, what's your favorite in this subject, and we're going to start with Rosie. So before you do, tell us what were you thinking when you were kind of putting this list together? Why'd you pick this list, that kind of thing, and then we'll jump in.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So, I mean, you kind of alluded to it. So I spent some time, I grew up as a Chicago Cubs fan. So growing up in Wisconsin as a Cubs fan, okay, I could have gone for the Brewers, but, you know, let's be honest, Cubs are just a little bit better. But also the fact that I spent time in Chicago. I lived next to Wrigley Field from 2005 to 2008 as a Cubs fan. I was teaching ROTC at DePaul and Loyola University. And you kind of get to know the people in that area. You know, it is a fun neighborhood to live in, but also the other part is that you start driving through some of these neighborhoods where these films are, you know, where they actually were filmed. And then you grow up watching these movies going, well, that's not a reality. That doesn't really happen. And then you start realizing as you go through some of these neighborhoods, you go, these are real places. And so I wanted to talk about John Hughes because once again, his movies have made an impact on my life, and I think a lot of people around my age, so I'm about mid-40s, and it really is a soundtrack of your life and where you are at that time. So my top four, I would say, you know, are based a little bit on where I was in my life, but also kind of give it a soundtrack a little bit of like why I really enjoyed those parts in those movies as well. It ties into the movies.
Love it. All right, so you get to start now. Alex, welcome to the show. If you can do a Rosie, you got the rest. We always talk about it. Rosie's the most difficult because you're cutting it off, right? This is like the gatekeeper, right? So Your number 4, your Rosie on your list, your Mount Rushmore of John Hughes songs. What you got?
Yep. So thank you. It's a little surprising because I was surprised when I came up with it myself. My Rosie is actually "Bust a Move" by Young MC from the movie Uncle
Look
Buck.
out!
Nice.
It received the most commercial success in 1989. So let's see, I must have been like 6th or 7th grade. Love that song, still love that song. That comes on, excellent. And honestly, I had to think about it because I forgot that it was an Uncle Buck until I went back and I watched it. I was like, that's Young MC, Bust a Move.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
I love that.
Uncle Buck surprised me on how great that soundtrack actually is when I went and looked it up.
Yep.
So today I'm doing my research. I'm kind of I was a little behind on this week, and I was like, yeah, let me go look. And I was like, this is gonna be easy. And I was like, oh, it's not as easy as I think because I like this movie and they have one good song, or I like this movie and there's 2 good songs, or and when I pulled up Uncle Buck, I was like, man, this soundtrack might have been we did soundtracks completely a couple weeks ago. And man, this one might have made it because of Bust a Move. And there's a couple other ones out there. I'm going to just say this. You took one of my very first Benjamins. So I can't say that later. It's not in my top 4.
Okay.
Only reason is my criteria, to be honest. But it is on that list. And man, this is a good pick. This is a great pick. This is one of those songs. As soon as it comes on, I can't help but to kind of get the shoulders moving and just reliving, late 80s, early 90s.
Exactly.
It's great.
Yeah, this is a good one. I'll say this though, for me personally, Uncle Buck is not one that I go to when I think of John. It's like not one of the first ones that I jump to as far as his catalog movies. Now, what we've noticed, and we'll talk about it, I'm sure plenty tonight. I guess from an outsider perspective, there's like 4 movies that your brain goes to when you think of John Hughes. But there's so many more that like, oh yeah, he, whether he was writer or director, producer, whatever role he played in that. And Uncle Buck for me is just one of those ones that honestly is kind of a blind spot in the sense of like not what I always think of when I think of John Hughes. But that song,
yes,
fantastic,
right? I always think, and this is not a John Hughes movie, but I think of The Blind Side. Speaking of Blind Side, right?
Now look at this. Spine Ticks is out here. They're talking about a gig. Spine Ticks was playing music. Let's go to the first one. I gigged once with Dave Wakeland of General Public, super cool dude. And he says, I still have the gig flyer. He asked us to do the California leg of his tour as the opener, but the other guys didn't want to chip in for the fee. We were starving musicians back then. Yeah. Andy, you know all about being a starving musician, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I always think about that tour bus story you tell me about, bro.
I'm with the Doobie Brothers. Yeah, that's nonsense.
So,
this is
Patty, thank you for being out there and supporting us. Please hit the thumbs up if you're out there. Hit the subscribe button. We do this every week, every weekend. Uncle Buck was a great movie. Venom. Thank you for being here. It was an awesome movie. Now, I will say this. Uncle Buck was, like you said, wasn't on the top of my list, Andy, because I was immediately drawn to, there's about 8 movies that is his lock and loaded, and Uncle Buck was at the tail end of that. But there were some others. And I when I came up with the other ones, I was like, gosh, I forgot. Like, he did that? Like, he wrote that? Or, like, he didn't direct them all. And so that expanded my list. I wrote my list for the first time in a while. I usually do it in my phone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got 12 movies that I picked from, and I picked like their best 2 or 3 songs. Now, one of these I have 7 songs from one movie. All the other ones I got 1 or 2. But I'll jump in and go with mine. And so here's the thing. My criteria is a little different. 1, I had to like the song. 2, I had to like the movie, which I like pretty much all of these movies. All of John Hughes' stuff. One of the reasons I was okay with doing it. He's awesome. Now, John Hughes died of a heart attack a couple years back. He was he was really well respected in the community of actors and just what he did for a lot of people. Like a lot of folks that got their start in a John Hughes movie. And so he is well respected. And when I started thinking about my list, I couldn't help but go to a couple of those movies that Andy was talking about. I had to go in a more solid direction. And what I thought was, I don't want to pick a movie that the song was kind of like, nothing against Bust a Move, but Bust a Move was widely just amazing before that. I want to pick a movie. I want to pick a song that when I think of the song, I think of the movie. Like that's at least in my first four, and then I go off the rails a little bit in my Benjamins.
Mm-hmm.
So my first movie, I'm going with one of my favorite movies of all time. Andy, with me saying that, and you probably just looked at the list, you probably know where I'm going, which is kind of weird because it is only April, but I'm going to December, and I'm going to National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
And I'm picking my favorite song of all time, which makes me cry every freaking time I hear it. Going back to Clark getting stuck in the attic.
Yep.
I'm going with Spirit of Christmas by Ray Charles. It was on my Rushmore of Christmas songs. If it's on my Rushmore of Christmas songs and it's in a movie, I've got to have it here. Spirit of Christmas is one of my fantastic. First off, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is on my Rushmore of movies, and this is on my Rushmore of Christmas songs. And Ray Charles, here's something I'm just gonna throw that out. Ray Charles is all over these soundtracks.
Yeah.
He's done several. There's a couple others that are all over, but I honestly never heard this song until this movie. And when I hear that song, if I hear it on the radio, if I hear it anywhere, I immediately go to the old movie. Clark stuck freezing to death in the attic, and Bev's about to pull the thing down, and he falls out to get the Christmas going. My number 4, Spirit of Christmas, Ray Charles. Rosie.
I know. I knew this was on your list. This was a peg. This was easy. Just because you've talked about this. This song, like you mentioned, has already made a previous Rushmore. This movie has made Rushmores. So I know that any chance you can bring this up, it's going to be brought up. But I do appreciate this one, because when I think of John Hughes movies, again, if I'm thinking of that pigeonholing those 4 movies, right, or 4 or 5, classic movies, right. This is not the style of song that I'm thinking, right? There's a style, and this one, if you were to just throw this out there with all these other ones that'll probably get mentioned tonight, I'd be like, that's not in a John Hughes movie. You know what I mean? Like, why this is?
Well, I think my other 3 are going to bless you with that.
Right. We can't escape a Rushmore without mentioning those songs, right? And I think we'll talk about them.
And one of them, I think, might be the Rushmore's favorite movie, because we've used it in clips more than I.
It's certainly in one of my favorite.
We've mentioned that movie over and over again, but we'll talk about it here soon. Hey, do you know this movie, Alex? Or you know this movie? Do you know the song I'm talking about?
I think I do. The one from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation? Yes.
Yeah.
I do. And the thing is, I know everybody likes to think that it's a really great Christmas movie. Okay. I'm Clark Griswold, guys. So to me, it's not really great. It's like a documentary. And sometimes I just gotta stutter and go, I'm like, seriously? I struggle to watch that movie and enjoy it, because I feel like I live that every Christmas.
That's good. I love it.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. This is just real classic nostalgia. I watch this movie every year. I put the tree up with the family. Mm-hmm. It's a part of our tradition. It was on our traditions. For that, it was on our Christmas movies. For that, well, on mine, on my traditions, it was on my Christmas songs. With this one, it might even made comedies. I love this movie, and you don't have to. I I know every word without even. You could turn it down, and I'll quote it for you while that's off. I
Funny
love this
story
movie.
about this movie. One more thing we can mention. Kirk, maybe you were in town, or maybe I messaged you about this. I don't remember. But speaking of Christmas decorations and stuff, there's a lot of houses you'll go to. It's kind of a newer thing where you go to a house, you tune to a specific radio station, and it cues up with everything. Well, there was a house here in Slidell, maybe a year or two, Christmas or two ago, that was literally playing National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And if you tuned it to whatever station, it was playing the audio for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you could get, I don't even know how they did that. I don't know. But literally, I'm like, I'm not standing here for, sitting in their driveway for, an hour and a half, whatever, to watch this movie. But it was pretty funny. And it's not the most kid friendly of Christmas movies to play on Christmas. So it's interesting.
There are a few parts that
it could be worse, but I'm just saying this is not, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, what we're talking about here. So a good pick though. I love this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially Cousin Eddie. All right, so you're up, man.
All right. Well, criteria wise for me, I couldn't overcomplicate it. I like the movie. I like, again, our buzzword here of iconic, right? That this song makes me think of this movie. And many of the songs that are in John Hughes movies are not original to John Hughes specifically. They had their own success outside of the movie, but it can't escape that scene for me. You know what I mean? Like immediately when I hear the song, I don't think of the band. I don't think of the group. Many of these people, I don't even know another song by most of them.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But all I think of is this scene or this movie as a whole when I hear this movie or hear this song. So that's really my big thing. It has to scream John Hughes to me to have made my list. I'm not going to go too far outside of the core movies that he did in my list, because here's the deal. I'm a rewatchable guy. Not that any of his movies are not rewatchable, but if you guys know me, I find a movie, I love it, I watch it to death, and then I watch it again. Like that's just what I do with movies. I'm a creature of habit. I like being comfortable and knowing what I'm getting into. I'm the guy that's going to order the same thing every time I go to the restaurant. It's it's the same deal with movies for me. But that's really my criteria here. I like the song itself, but also I can't separate it from the movie, even though it may be something outside of that. So to get started, I'm actually not going to go too far from Kirk's pick. I'm not going to pick your pick, okay?
Cool.
But
do it.
I'm going to stay in the same season, and I'm going with the main title from Home Alone. We're talking John Williams. It's so good. I can't literally like this. There's no words, right? It's not. There's no lyrics to this title, but it's so iconic. It's one of the best Christmas songs, and it's really not even. It's kind of creepy, to be honest, like how the song is, because it fits the movie so well. But I love this movie so much. Home Alone is, I think it was on my top 4. Right? We have to go way back, 100 and some odd episodes ago to figure that's a good revisited, maybe potentially, because I'd have to go back and watch it. But it's definitely up there. Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2, also same deal for me. But this, you can't get past this. As soon as the movie kicks off, and it follows through the whole movie in different parts of the movie. I love this. And then here's the last thing too. I'm a big metal fan. And if you guys have ever heard of August Burns Red has a Christmas album, and they do their metal version of this theme song, and it's fantastic. And I play it every year for our youth ministry, for our Christmas party, because it's a way to freak my kids out, but it's still a Home Alone song. So anyway, I have to go my Rosie with the main title, the theme from Home Alone. What you guys think?
Wow.
Yeah, well, this is on a so.
Yeah.
I will just say this: John Williams is the GOAT.
Oh yeah, easy.
And but what I realized was he's got he being John Hughes has, out of the list of movies that I found, there's probably about 7 movies, Home Alone being one of them, that is very filled with, instead of lyric songs, composed songs. Like it's composed. But if I may be wrong, but as I was going through, I saw lots of movies with composers, but Home Alone was the only one with GOAT. They had Danny Elfman. They had a couple other ones.
Well,
but
there is one. There's another one.
Well, there is one more, but that's totally different.
It's just a scene, and it's not.
That's totally different. But lots of so when I went to those movies, I was like, yeah, those are good, but I have a feeling. I got a feeling we're going to do a composer music eventually.
Yeah.
And this will probably make at least the show.
Check this out. 2 boys in there. Scary Pop said that his boys and them watch it every year as part of a tradition. That's the best part about Christmas, is so many traditions, and then when it comes to movies and things like that too. So and then Alan says, Home Alone makes me so angry in the kitchen scene. Are we talking the kitchen like at the beginning when they ordered pizza and everybody like is horrible to Kevin? Like, is that the scene? I think that's what we're talking about. But either way, yeah, it's a tradition. I love this one. And then the theme song is just so fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, you guys hit it already. I mean, the GOAT, right? John Williams. Can't go wrong with him. I mean, and I'm not going to say it because I have another one, John Williams as well. It's not the one that I was going with, but same area, right? Yeah. So, I mean, to me, I expanded because when I looked at this list originally, I was just going John Williams directed movies. That was it. And then as you start looking through that list, you go, there's a lot more. And so I added a little bit more from other parts of it, but I will tell you that I think it's a solid pick. I mean, right? I mean,
yeah.
There's some sleepers out there.
Farrell's got a great
movie. There are some sleepers.
Yeah, Farrell's got a great point. Just stay away from Home Alone for the Super Nintendo. That's true. I think I saw, did Retro Cart get it as part of a box or something?
Yeah, I think he did.
And he played it. He's like, this is horrible. It has nothing to do with
the worst game ever. It's like the worst game ever. Well, look, that's our first level of the mountain. No crushes yet. So Home Alone, Christmas Vacation, and Bust the Move, Uncle Buck. Now it's time for TJ Jazzy Jeff. It's our fun name for Thomas Jefferson. He's third on the mountain. Now we don't need to talk criteria, Alex. Just jump in and tell us who is your second entry to the mountain.
Yeah, if you were here, 16 Candles, Thompson Twins. I think Thompson Twins maybe had like 2 songs that I remember, right? 1 of the 2. Kind of crazy trivia with this one. You know that John Hughes was actually supposed to direct Mr. Mom, but he wouldn't move from Chicago to California, so they fired him.
Wow.
And when they fired him, he said, well, you know what? I have this script for this movie that I wrote called 16 Candles. And he directed for 16. That prompted him to do 16 Candles.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The Thompson Twins, man. That's a good
Thompson Twins. Yeah.
That's a good pick, man.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So it's a good pick, but it is not my pick even from that movie. But it is on my Benjamins. And again, I don't know, I probably have 15, 20 of them. It's on here. But yeah, good movie. Good song. Thompson Twins. They don't have a ton of hits out there that will immediately jump to me, but this is one of them.
Yeah, I think there's like 2, right?
Yeah, and that other one I think was probably a Billboard.
Hold Me Now.
Hold Me
Now.
Yeah, I think that's like a chart buster, that one.
Yep.
But yeah, Pretty in Pink though. All right, Molly Ringwald, we're bringing it in. Now we're getting to those type of movies, right? We're there. I love this pick. Andy, did you have this as a Benny? Did you have this?
No, I didn't. Honestly, and in full disclosure, and I said it kind of at the top, it's been a week. So
right.
A lot of my prep has been done kind of last minute. I know enough of the John Hughes movies to be able to pull some out, but this was not on there. I will say this though, Thompson Twins were one of those groups that my mom was a big fan of. Believe it or not, she was the new wave '80s pop synth stuff that was in our house growing up. And
lay your hands on me. There we go. There we go.
There you go.
There we go. There we go. You take me up. No, so they got more.
I guess.
Antics. Molly Ringwald went to his high school a few years ahead of him. What?
Wow.
Hey,
Dude,
in New Orleans, one of the greatest cover bands in the history of cover bands is called the Molly Ringwalds.
Yeah, they are.
Called the Molly Ringwalds. Yeah, it's great. And they're from Louisiana. Well, they're from the Louisiana area. I could probably be Andy's parents' age then. Well, so Spine Ticks, I believe, because I think we may have said this, that you're around my age. I'm not, maybe not certain. I'm 45. Andy is 35. Alex, what are you? Probably right about 40?
46.
40. You're older than me. I thought you were like 1 year younger than me.
Yeah.
So 46.
Yep.
All right. So look, so we're over there towards you, Spine Ticks, I believe. Andy's 35. So he usually is in the 90s world more than the 80s. Doctor. Yeah. See?
Yep.
So we're a little hating on the
actually have some good
songs. Yeah, they're out there.
Huh.
He said, biologically, Andy could be my wild
dad.
Well, if you've seen his dad, it's a pretty spitting image.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I will say this, Spine Ticks, he's an Angels fan, and I know you're a Giants fan, so he's an Angels guy.
Hey, Southern Cal, man, come on. How can you be a Giants?
Yeah, he's an Angels guy. But all right, so 53 here. Yeah, well, you're welcome. 53 is welcome. I'll jump in. It's my turn.
Yes.
I'm gonna go to the movie we've been dancing around. I mean, we've been dancing around. It's got to be here. I can't believe I didn't put it one, but there's two other songs. When I think of John Hughes, it's just boom. Those are the two songs I immediately thought of. Well, we're gonna jump into Ferris Bueller's Day Off for my number 3. And I could have picked many. This is the one that I said I have the most. I think I have 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that whole soundtrack, dude.
I've got 7 songs off their soundtrack that I could pick off of. And my, the one, well, there's a couple. Again, some of these songs were made for the movie. As soon as you hear it, boom, I go to it. And I just love this. I don't know why I love this one so much. I think it's underrated. It's not probably the top one. It's one of my favorites. I'm going with Love Missile F-111 by Sig Sputnik. And I am going 1986. This is the song that was playing when he's running through the neighborhood, right? Yeah. And he's trying to get back home, right? There's so many other ones in there, but this is the one when I mean, when I hear it, I don't ever hear it on the radio. You don't ever hear it anywhere else other than Ferris. But when you hear it, it's Ferris. It's all about that movie, and that movie is one of our favorite movies of all time. We've done more clips from Ferris and Wayne's World than probably any clips we've ever done, and that's because, 1, we love Ferris, and 2, Andy's favorite movie ever is Wayne's World. So it's just a lot that we've gone there. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and I'm going Love Missile F-111. Boom.
Wow.
I love this.
I tried using that as a portion to do our intro somehow. I was trying to find a Ferris song, and that was going to be it. Yeah. I kept getting copyrighted and stuff. And I was like, yeah,
one of these days we should film the outro. It should be one of us coming around the corner.
Now, Farrell, we talked about them last week or 2 weeks ago. Farrell, 2 weeks ago we talked about them. Save Ferris. Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. 2 weeks ago we talked about cover songs, and Save Ferris was on that show. Alex,
I'll say
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah, excellent pick. Excellent pick. I mean, you're right. There are so many songs from that movie that you can go into. I could have thrown
a dart and picked another one.
Right, but
I'm not going to say them because
but as the minute you started saying
they're going to get mentioned.
Right, the minute you started saying that, all I'm thinking about is him running through, coming back, talking to the girls that were out on the tower, right? And then he's saying, "Oh, hi, ladies," going right. It just the whole, you can see it in your head, that scene, and it's just, I think the music was perfect. the music was.
Now I will say
perfectly
this,
attached to that scene,
and this might be
Mhm.
out of left field, but I always, after watching that movie, I thought Matthew Broderick was going to be a much bigger megastar. He's done well for himself. He's done some great stuff, but I thought he was going to be the guy, because that movie, I remember as a kid, that movie was everything. Like he was so cool in that movie.
What are you talking about, man? He was Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, he was. That was the first thing that pops in my mind. So if I go from Ferris Bueller to Inspector Gadget, and I know he's other things like Deck the Halls, which is hilarious, or the Graduate, or was it the Freshman? No, the Graduate. No, the Freshman.
The Freshman.
Yeah, that's a great movie. I mean, there's so many other good movies, but yeah, I just thought he was going to be a megastar because that movie is just fantastic. It's like a perfect movie. It is a perfect.
It is a perfect movie, and
he was in Godzilla, your favorite Godzilla, Andy. Your favorite Godzilla. Thank you, two boys. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do like Deadpool's version.
Well, you like Deadpool's version. I like Michael Scarn's version from The Office. He's got one too. You should check that out. It's at the end of Threat Level Midnight.
Which is hilarious that you know the actual name to the episode.
Well, here's the deal. I've watched that show once or twice.
What are you on your 13th episode? 13th run?
Probably
more than that.
15 times to The Office.
Yeah, Michael Scarn. He loves The Office. If you have any Office memorabilia you'd like to get your hands off of, dude, you can send it to Andy. Andy would love to have it.
I'll take it.
All right, Andy, you're up, man.
TJ. Yeah. So continuing with my theme of songs that I can't separate from these movies. This may be, if we were going to say, what are the critics' top 4 John Hughes songs? This is on the list for sure. May not be the number 1. In fact, my number 2 is probably what would be the number 1 in many people's eyes or ears. But this is definitely right up there. And I'm going to go from Pretty in Pink. I'm going with If You Leave by Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. If You Leave is one of the best 80s kind of songs. And I believe this is a one-hit wonder, because I've literally this week I was like, yep, figured out the name of that band. Orchestral Movements in the Dark. Give me another song by them. Actually, they may have another one on that soundtrack. I don't know. But If You Leave is just so fantastic. This song, the melody of that song, all of the synth kind of strings and everything in that song are just so good. An iconic song from the 80s. There you go, Tesla Girls. That's the other one by them. Now that's also in another movie too, but we'll maybe it's in that movie too. But Pretty in Pink, probably not the movie I'm going to when I'm saying John Hughes. At least me personally, like that. If I'm gonna pick one of these, it's a great movie, but there's just so many other ones I'm gonna go to. But this still is probably, like we said, when people hear John Hughes movies, they're picking these 4. Pretty in Pink's up there. I mean, this is definitely one of those ones you're going to grab. You're going to say this is one of the top 4 ones that he put out. But yeah, so I had to go with If You Leave by Orchestral Movements in the Dark from Pretty in Pink.
Well, great pick, man. I said Pretty in Pink. There's another song on the list that I would put a little higher than the other Pretty in the Pink, and this is the other Pretty in the Pink song. It's great. It's fantastic, and OMD is awesome. It's all about the 80s, man.
Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah.
Why did you pick this one?
Yeah, I did too. Like I said, this wasn't on my Rushmore, but this is definitely one of those where you think of OMD. It's the one song that you hear. Once again, it captures that movie perfectly. And I'll be honest with you guys, when I looked at this list, I would probably say that the 2 movies that they're not my favorite movies would be Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles. Those are not my 2 favorites.
Crazy, because when I was a kid, I used to think both those movies were like as nostalgic as they are. I have gone and rewatched, and they are not as good as they don't hold up.
They don't. Compared to the other lists that you have, like even Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck is just that much. You can watch it. I could throw it on tomorrow, and I'd be enjoying that movie. But like I said,
I think Pretty in Pink more than 16 Candles.
Yeah.
Because there are some things in 16 Candles that I just die laughing.
Yeah.
But with Ducky and all that stuff,
Right.
but
but I think, like you said,
but
this is a great.
Pretty in Pink was, when I was watching, I was like, man, almost like I didn't even remember it. It's like the first time I was watching it.
Right. Yep.
And not that it was a bad movie. It was just as iconic as it was, it just didn't hold up for me.
Yeah,
I would agree with you. And like I said, that song does hold
The
up.
donger, yeah, long duck dong, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, just from a musical standpoint, this song, dude, just the beginning, I'm putting it in my ear right now because it's like,
you talking about?
It's just it's so audibly pleasing, like this song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
this was kind of the auto tune before auto tune. I mean, those guys got so much synth going on. It's crazy.
Love it, dude. I love it.
Retro Tiburon in the house.
What's up, dude?
Hey, we're gonna have Retro on again. Probably, it's definitely when video games come rolling around, but maybe in nostalgia, Retro, we'll have you on. Welcome to the show, man. We're talking John Hughes songs. What's your top 4 favorite songs in the top and John Hughes movies?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I love this song. Great pick.
Yep.
So, Andy, we're halfway through this mountain, and man, we just hit an hour, so we're right on target. We are halfway through the mountain, and if you've hung around with us long enough, I got 10 in the comments. Hopefully, you've seen us here before. Couple things. If I haven't already said it, thank you. It means more than anything that you would come and watch us. When we started this thing 3 years ago, we figured it would just be our closest of friends, that we would never make an impact with anybody. But because of the impact, we have decided to use what God's called us to do. We're both youth pastors. We're both ministers in the assemblies, and we are launching a new ministry. And we are kind of collaborating, hopefully, with some Christian creators, and they're going to help us do Nerd in the Word sermons, as well as preaching nerd messages, if you will, at conventions all around the country. We've been invited to 2 of them, and let's see this little trailer about what's coming up.
Prepare to make the jump to light speed.
They're getting closer.
Oh yeah? Watch this.
So, man, Star Wars, maybe a precursor. Hey, John Williams, listen, I'm just going to tell you, we are super excited that on the 20th, in 2 weeks, a week and a half, really, we will be in Mandeville, Louisiana, with a booth, with another space, and we are going to be the MCs of the St. Tammany Collectors Con, run by our good buddies Ben Robert and his wife, and they've invited us to come down. They have guests. They have Ming from Comic Book Men. They have Sergeant Slaughter. They have 2 of the Ninja Turtles artists. They have Batgirl, that are going to be some of the main attractions as far as talent. And we're going to be doing some panels with some of them. Hopefully, Sergeant Slaughter. We're waiting for that list, but we're gonna be hanging out with those guys, and we're gonna do Nerd Church at the convention. Andy's preaching. He's got a great message on God's love, and if that's your jam, thank you for being here. Way you can support us, literally, is just continuing to come and visit us, be our friends, pray for us if you're a praying person. The subscribe and the like and all that stuff and the comments always help. But pretty soon we're going to have a portion of our page dedicated to other Christian creators that are just going to show up over here and preach a message that we're going to share every Sunday for all the nerds that are trying to find a church. And hopefully we can get them connected to some places all around the country of different good people that are doing some great things, and hopefully get them into the church. And we've already seen great fruit. We had a Retro Game Pandemic, which is the editor. Listen to this. He's the editor of Pixel Game Squad, one of the biggest gaming YouTube channels ever. He was on a show with our friend Picking Preacher last week, and he's coming on our show. He's coming on our show coming up. He's given his life to Christ, overcome cocaine, and they run the one of the biggest conventions out there in California, out by U Spine Ticks. And we're connecting with people, man. He's so excited to come and chat with us about his story. We've had a couple people reach out in the DMs that have been hosts and be like, hey, ever since I left, I've just been thinking, I've been having these issues with my wife or issues with this. Can you show me about your faith and what got you there? And I'm going to be honest, man, we're both broken people. We're both guys that are working on 10 years sobriety plus. And we didn't always start this way. This is why we love this side of things, because we reminisce in who we used to be, but we can connect with people in a real relevant way. And man, thank you for being here. But with that being said, you can pray for us, support us, subscribe, hang around a little bit. But we also want to share these guys up here in this top corner, Culture Box and Andy. Culture Box is a bunch of Christian creators, another crew that we kind of joined. And while we joined them, one of the things that we've kind of said that we would do is absolutely promote one of them each and every week, because we love them so much. And Andy, do you have someone that you would like to share with our audience today, or maybe send them over to go see?
Yeah, for sure. We're going to talk today about our good friends over at the Untold podcast, right? So the Untold podcast is a speculative fiction podcast utilizing the genres of sci-fi, fantasy, and horror, among others, in order to engage the culture's imagination from a Christian worldview. Every month, Nathan James Norman produces and narrates a new story presented in a unique and dynamic way. Check out the Untold podcast at www.untoldpodcast.com to listen and leave them a review on Apple Podcasts. Untold Podcast. Hey, go check them out, like we just said. And hey, when you go there, let them know that the Rushmore Show sent you. We'd love to show this.
Yeah, that's Nathan Norman. He's over there. He's a pastor up in New York area, I believe, and he does this really cool podcast it just tells some spooky stories and some really kind of cool thrillers. And man, he's a good guy. We will have him on the show eventually. But man, I want to give a shout out right now. Hey, look, we're halfway through. Let me tell you, this is the whole commercial and a half. You do not. Let me just go out here and throw this out there. You do not want to see his watch.
Nope.
Want to see his watch. And that's why, right there in the map of Baghdad. Just trust me, you do not want to see that. KJ Rosie, look, this is Carl Rosenkrantz, man. He is a Navy. Well, back then, I think he's doing other things now, if I remember correctly. But he's a Navy up in the desert. What on earth are we getting this guy in the desert for? But we were more blessed than anybody could imagine by him being out there. Just a great guy and a tremendous loyal friend. Mm-hmm. Hey, Rosie, thank you for coming, man. It's good seeing you.
Rosie, I was just going to say, when we talked about a motley crew of misfits, you got to understand, they literally pick people from around the country to go to Iraq and build a team on the ground and put me in charge of that team. And once again, I asked the same question: why do I have a submariner who was literally on a submarine sitting in the middle of the desert with me? Makes zero sense. Right? So, but that's the caliber of people. That's the caliber of the team that I have, but that's why I also had a lot of fun. Because we really didn't quite know who we were.
Literally is crazy.
We're just throwing together.
Hey, Rosie, I believe you're watching from probably Facebook. Man, jump on over there on YouTube. Give us a sub, man. I want you to come join the show with us, man.
Yeah,
perfect. He's so awesome. If he's still out there,
yeah.
If you're there, man, come on over to the red side.
Yep.
But hey, look, we're at the second half of the mountain.
Okay.
And we're gonna finish this thing off. Alex, you're up. We call him Link. We call him Link. He's second. Shoot us over.
All right, here we go. So you know what? You kind of kept on going on the whole part of kind of the movies that we're talking about. So you know what? Simple Minds. Don't You Forget About Me.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Don't you
Yeah, exactly.
forget about me.
So the unofficial 1995 graduation song from Mariner Catholic Central High School was "Don't You Forget About Me" by Breakfast Club. You know, by Simple Minds and Breakfast Club. So once again, great song. It's not the number one, but it's still, like I said, it's still my number two. So I know, Garrett. Yes, I get it. But you know what? It's my number two.
Is Venom your guy right there? Is that your guy?
Venom's my guy. Yep.
Garrett, nice to meet you, Garrett.
He's also an Air Force. Hey, he's an Air Force guy
Rosie
too.
jumped on over. Traveling world of Rosie. There he is. Okay, I'm here, family. Thanks for being here, brother.
Yep.
Hey, Andy.
So Venom's an Air Force guy too, Kirk.
Oh.
Yeah. So
yeah, aim high, dude. Aim high. Yeah. I'm the Air Force. Yeah, I was like a fish out of water. Well, a bird out of land. I don't know. How do you say bird in the desert? I guess. Whatever.
Yep.
I didn't belong out there.
Nope.
But hey, look, just because I know we're going to do this right off the bat, I'm going to just jump the gun here, Alex. I'm crushing, Wade. I'm crushing. Look, we could talk about it a little bit more, but this is definitely my number two as well. My link. Look, one of the most iconic scenes in the history of television, especially in the 80s, when he come out and he hit that pose.
Yep.
You know, and this is, you know, they're doing the whole, this song is all about back in the day. And look, let me just throw this out there. One of my favorite people is Bert. He was on our thing last week. His group of misfits, if you will, of misfit channels is called the Modern Day Breakfast Club, which is an ode to the movie that they're all different folks and kind of brought us someplace. But Modern Day Breakfast Club, if you guys are looking to get in a good community and you're a creator, man, go follow Bert, man, and follow Spine Ticks. Those two guys are just killing it. They're just killing it. But yeah, this had to be on the list. I mean, it had to be on the list. And Andy, I'm pretty sure you're going to hit the button here soon.
Why waste any time? We're all on the screen. We're all on the screen. Why waste any time? Let's all talk about how great this is. This is my number two also.
Don't you forget about me.
I said this earlier. I think this is probably what critics are going to say is the number one.
Yeah.
Most people are going to say this is what I think of when I think of, and I think many people are going to say that The Breakfast Club is the best out of the John Hughes films. I think most people. Now, we don't have to.
Now I'll go back. Now, Ferris Bueller's definitely his best.
For me personally, yes, absolutely. But I'm just saying.
But I will say this: I hadn't seen Breakfast Club in years as well, and I watched it in succession with probably Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles and a couple. Breakfast Club does hold, and Breakfast now I will say this: the type of high schoolers each one of those guys are a little different nowadays, but the movie is definitely still a banger.
Yeah. This is so good. And then just again, we're not only just talking about the movie, but this song is so ingrained to this movie that I don't know. It's again to my criteria, I can't separate it, right? So this is, the water balloons. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. But yeah, so this song might be one of the greatest 80s songs of all time. Quoted the movie. Now that's another thing. I almost put as my tagline, you mess with the bull.
Yep.
You get the horns, right? But here's the deal. So you brought this up, the characters are a little bit different today. It'd be kind of interesting if they had a modern day Breakfast Club, right? If they had like a reboot of this movie and did it today, I'm curious about like the Gen Z version of this and who it would be. But I think some of the characters, the overall idea, again, another Molly Ringwald movie would be there. But if you're one of these characters in high school, who are you? You as a high schooler, not who do you want to be, right? Or
so
you
freshman year, I'm the nerd guy.
Yeah.
Freshman year, I'm the nerd guy. The guy that
you're Brian.
Guy from Weird Science. I'm the nerd.
Anthony Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael Hall. I'm Anthony Michael Hall as a freshman.
You're Emilio as a senior, right?
Oh, as a senior, I'm Emilio. Yeah, 100%. As a senior, I was Emilio. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was a mix between Brian and John. And I know that doesn't sound like, well, it seems like the whatever, but for me, it was definitely
Emilio!
But yeah, so these are fantastic. This is a great one. What about you? What about you, Alex, in high school? Who are you in?
You know, I was just thinking about that. I think it was probably my high school was so small. I mean, I graduated 21 people, guys. So
He
you
was
know,
Molly Ringwald.
yeah, exactly. Pick one, right? So I mean, I think honestly, you it was either Claire, Brian, or Andrew. Like
I hung out with a lot of Allison Reynolds. I'm just
Right.
saying, I hung out with a lot of Allison Reynolds.
One of my closest
I bet
friends
you did.
Allison Reynolds. So there you go.
Haley Williams. I bet you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. I was probably the male version of Allison Reynolds mixed with John Bender. A little bit I think we could see a little bit of all of ourselves in all of them. I think it's the beauty of this.
Well, look, I'm excited though, man, because this is probably widely what was considered the number one.
Mhm.
I'm widely considering seeing where we're going for the George, because
Right.
there are still some bangers out there, and I'm
Right.
thinking about, gosh, I'm really thinking about my Benjamins and how this is going to hold up.
Right.
So, Alex.
Well, I was going to tell you also, you know, with this song, just like I said, a little bit of trivia here, right?
Yeah.
Simple Minds did not. This song got passed up by Billy Idol. Billy Idol was supposed to actually record the song. He passed it up, and so the lead singer of the Pretenders, she's like, well, my boyfriend can do it. Well, her boyfriend happened to be the lead singer of Simple Minds.
Wow.
So there you go.
No, dude.
Billy Idol did actually.
Billy Idol didn't need it. Billy Idol did.
Well, he ended up re-recording it years later on an album, but yeah,
Really?
it's out there. Yeah.
I love when I always see like the guys that passed up, you know, like if Bruce Willis passes up this big star and role,
Right.
Prince, you know, Will Smith passed up this role. I'm like, yeah, but it didn't hurt him. It didn't hurt him.
They were okay. They made out.
They finished out okay.
Yeah.
Now, I want to know those 4 or 5 guys that were before them that kind of dropped out that never made anything.
That's good. Two boys in their scary pot. Look at that. The girl who plays 11 could see her casted in a new one, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
She would definitely.
That's fun to think about. Who would be casted of the new modern day Breakfast Club? That'd be fun.
Well,
or the new movies, right? If you had to go back and redo it.
So, probably the Spider-Man guy, Tom Holland. Yeah, he's probably in there. He's young.
Chris Pratt as John,
as
Andrew. Could be
Emilio. Or he could be either one.
Either one.
But all right, well look, the George, man, right. Number one. We're gonna finish this mountain. Alex, I mean, what's better than this song? I mean, what do you got?
So here you go. When I look at all the John Hughes movies, my favorite movie is probably because of where I am now, right? Different age where you are. My favorite John Hughes movie is Plane, Trains, and Automobiles.
Wow.
It really
yes!
is. You know, and it's where you are. Like I said, mid-40s, you know, you have a family, you have kids, all the things that happen around in your life. And, you know, and I used to travel a lot for work before. So Planes, Trains, and Automobiles speaks a lot to me. And it's just the people that you meet right along the way. So my George is actually Every Time You Go Away by Daryl Hall.
Wow.
Wait, right?
Wow.
Yep, there you go.
Dude, this is a great song.
It is. Yep.
This is a fantastic song. And look, I went through that list and I didn't put it on.
Yep.
And I know the song because I went through the list today and I was like, it's a good song. But it doesn't impact me the same way. And maybe because I didn't listen to the words, but I love Hall, dude. I do. Yep. Like Daryl Hall & Oates is it, man. But yep. It's a cool pick. I have 2 songs from that movie. Wait. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
That intro.
No, I only have 1 song from that movie.
Yeah.
The intro is like so like John Mayer, like smooth, man.
And you know, like I said, I used to live in Chicago. I used to walk downtown Chicago back to my place, and like that, you know, you ride the L, right, where you're at the end where they're taking the trunks, and I've been on that station, and he says goodbye to him, right? I've been on that station. I've seen trains go by. And like I said, that song itself just plays different now than maybe it would have played 10, 15, 20 years ago. But it's also one of those things where you kind of, it's a good reflection of, it's also, once again, thinking about the people that you meet, right? Whether we haven't seen each other in 20 years or the people you run into the journey of your life. I mean, I think that's just a great song that
I'm
captures
sitting here
that.
listening to this, Alex, and I'm not even kidding. Listening to you talk, listening to the kind of in the background, because I kind of just keeping it low, and I know the song and where it's going. Oh,
yeah,
this is a pop, dude. I should have had this on my list.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm kind of getting choked up a little bit thinking about it, especially like with Carl, with Rosie hanging out here, you out here. I mean, it's one of those songs, and this is one of the best, if not the best, Thanksgiving movie ever, right?
Yeah.
It's a Thanksgiving movie, not a Christmas movie. This Thanksgiving movie. I don't care what you say. And here's the thing: the whole idea is getting back to his family, getting back home, and this is a great song. Every time you go away, listen, woo! That's a good movie, and that's a good song. I love this movie.
Yeah, me too.
Good pick.
Man, I can't believe I didn't put that one. That's not even the song I put on there. Dang, man. I hate that. Well, and I wouldn't have picked it in my top 4. It would have been a Benjamin, so I'm glad you picked it. Thank you.
Andy and Martin, maybe the best duo of films in the 80s? Maybe
Andy and Martin may be.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they may be. I don't know that. I listen. Who said that? Who said that? Who said that? Two boys and there's yeah. Hey, look, I'm gonna throw this out there. When we did comedians, I said Steve Martin and my Rushmore comedians, and Andy and my guest made fun of him. They called me old because I think Steve Martin is so underrated.
He's hilarious. Hilarious.
I love.
Listen, this is not where we're debating that. Because the Rushmore is your, it's
it's my favorite.
Yeah.
I think there's just so many that have far surpassed since.
Right.
I think he paved the street of gold for some of them though. But here we go.
But you got to patch.
I'll jump into my George.
All right.
I'm gonna jump into my George, bro. And look, that was a great pick. That was a great mountain. But I really do love all these songs, but I can't go much further without doing this. Man, I'm going with the other Pretty in Pink song, If You Leave. And look, Andy, you had it. Pretty in Pink mentioned 3 times. That's crazy. I didn't think that was going to mention 3 times. But If You Leave, when I hear that, I am, again, that song, the movie doesn't translate. The movie does not translate. But that song transports me back to 1986. Hanging out with my sister. She was just in here. I don't know if she's still hanging around, Tracy. But, I mean, brings me back to 1986. That would have made me about 8 years old. Tracy is 8 years older than me, so she was a teenager at the time when this movie would have been out. And it's one of the best 80s songs ever, in my opinion. And what the most nostalgic, most iconic, and the fact that it was in this movie and a part of John Hughes. When I thought of John Hughes, this one came up first, and obviously our number 2 came up second, and then we were kind of figuring out what the rest was. I was just trying to figure out which one I was going to do, 1 or 2. I kind of thought you guys were going to all go with the other one, number 1. So I was kind of being a little different, but I love this. It could have went either way.
Yeah. This is obviously, I already mentioned this song. We've already talked about it. This is a fantastic song. Wild
and crazy guys.
Also, we have a couple things here. We have John Candy, The Great Outdoors is Still Gold.
Still gold.
Yeah, well, I have 2 songs from that one too, hanging out here.
Yeah, so this is good. This is a great pick.
Oh, and by the way, hey, let me click back to me. Look, I don't know if anybody's noticed it, but did you see my my quote down here?
Yeah.
Yep. Have that nod off your.
Have that rat and all that off your face, dude. That is one of the best quotes in history. Uncle Buck, dude. Uncle Buck. Uncle Boo.
Yeah.
Dude.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, I guess it's my turn to finish off this mountain, and I cannot believe, Kirk.
Yeah,
you brought
I
up a
avoided
song-
it.
you
I was
brought
gonna.
a
It's
song-
probably you're gonna take it. Really? Here?
You brought up a song from the best John Hughes movie, and it's a great song. Don't get me wrong, but the song from this movie is "Oh Yeah."
Yeah.
Bow, bow.
This literally, I
Oh yeah, by the yellow.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal about this song. What makes this song so crazy to me, I would hate this song in any other context. I don't like the song, but because it's in this movie, it is fantastic. I can't separate it from this movie. I never want to hear it unless it is in this movie. I use this all the time. I literally sing this song. This song is
About when it gets past, like when it gets like about halfway in the song, it's just like screaming. It's like yeah, ha, 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 ha.
So here's the weird thing. Oh yeah, the band name Yellow, like
Without a W.
it's such a weird song, but it fits
Bow, bow.
so well. I think it just sets the tone for this movie. It's inseparable from the movie because I don't like the song, but I love it in this movie. It's the weirdest thing.
So it's number 2 on the list of 7 from this movie.
Yeah, it is this Ferris Bueller song.
Yeah.
When I think of this, because there's a lot of songs in Ferris Bueller that are great hits outside of the movie. This is the Ferris Bueller song.
Yeah.
I mean the parade, the whole parade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. It might be the best scene in movie history for me. Yeah. So I can't separate this song. It had to, because of my criteria, this absolutely had to be my pick. This was from the beginning, number 1, without a doubt for me.
And I would be lying to you if I said I didn't think when I knew you were going to pick a Ferris movie that you were going to pick this one or the other one. And I don't know if the other one makes it back to us. So I'm just
We'll see. I could literally just pick any song from the soundtrack because it's a fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah.
Well, it was number 1 for me on soundtrack. So, which I think kind of sparked this because we were talking about John Hughes and then we passed it on. Alex was kind of watching that. Yeah, 100%. Popular staple in pop culture for sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Funny story about this, Kirk. Last flight to Argentina, actually flight back home from Argentina.
That sounds like a band name. The Last Flight to Argentina.
Sounds like a band that would be in a John Hughes movie. But here's the deal. On the way home, we have this tiny little TV in front of us or whatever. And of course I'm watching, Ferris Bueller at like 2 a.m, flying wherever. So I have a seat and nobody else will get this in here other than Kirk. So Kirk, this story's for you. I'm sitting next to Pastor T, and Pastor T, what movie are you watching? I'm like,
tell me she doesn't know this movie.
Wait, I said, this is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This is like one of the greatest movies of all time. And she said, never heard of it. I'm like, what are you talking about? Pastor T, love this lady. And so then maybe an hour later, I think I had finished the movie. I look over and she's watching Ferris Bueller's Day Off from however many thousand feet up in the air on this tiny little screen. So we land. I don't remember if it was on the way back. Either way, we land and I said, what did you think about Ferris Bueller's Day Off? She said, it's kind of a stupid movie. but it's so good, man. It's just
Pastor T. Pastor T is
actually, it wouldn't surprise me if there was someone who was in this group who knew Pastor T, because we find people that know her across the globe. It's weird. It's the weirdest.
All right, man. Well, that's our mountain, but we're not done. We're not done. Hey guys, we got 10 folks in here. If you haven't done it already, while I'm getting it queued up, go hit the like button, man. Subscribe, stay around a little bit. We're about to do our honorable mentions. We're going to finish off the show. Thank you for being here. And our honorable mentions are called Benjamins, because Benjamin Franklin was supposed to be the 5th guy on the mountain. So it is time for All About the Benjamins. So who missed the mountain? Who missed the mountain? So we're going to go with a snake draft. If anybody's ever done fantasy football, this is how you do it. And you cannot, now all those songs we've already picked are gone. So we picked all the bangers. They're out of here. What is left to pick? Now, Alex, once you name one, it's off the chart. Once I name one, it's off the chart. Once Andy names one, it's off the chart. So here's the thing. If we're going to go this way, and then the second round we come back. Third round we go this way again. Fourth round we come back. So you get first pick and last pick, and then we'll finish this show off. Tell all our friends goodbye. Thank you for being here. And tell you guys what's coming up next, because we got a lot of good stuff coming up next. So here we go.
Ready?
You're up, bro.
Lightning round. What you got?
All right, here we go. Weird Science by Oingo Boingo.
Dang it.
Oh, man. He just
Right off the gate.
mentioned it.
Right off the
Two
gate.
boys
Harold
staring
just
positive
said
in the
it.
mouth. Yeah,
Yep.
sad Weird Science didn't make it.
Who's the
absolutely
lead
there.
singer of Oingo
Weird.
Boingo?
It was, dude. It's right there. It was coming.
Yeah, who's
That's a
the
good pick.
okay? Who's the lead singer of Oingo Boingo?
Oh, jeez. I have no idea. Who's the lead singer of
That's,
Oingo Boingo?
that's Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oingo Boingo is another band that was.
Daryl, that was your George Weird Science? That's a cool pick. Elfman.
All right.
I should've known
Kirk,
that.
you now. We're to you.
I should have known that. I remember something when I watched the original Batman. I watched a YouTube video on him doing the soundtrack for that, and I remember him talking about that. It vaguely. All right, well, I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to take it before you take it, Andy. I'm going to take it before anybody else takes it. I'm going with back to Ferris Bueller. I'm going to the King of John Williams.
Yeah.
I'm going with Star Wars A New Hope theme. I'm going with the soundtrack from Star Wars when the two guys
4 seconds of the movie.
when the two guys steal the car.
That,
When the
right?
two guys steal the car.
I know it's a good.
That's it. That's a good
And dun, 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 dude, it's the best movie ever, bro. It's on my Rushmore. I gotta have it.
All right. Yeah, it's
Oh.
a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one. Hey, so we're gonna I thought you were gonna take my Weird Science song and you didn't do it, but this song is a banger. All right, so from Weird Science, I get 2 picks here. I'm going with 80s by Killing Joke. That song is so good.
That
dude.
song is cool. That's not the song. That's even the other song I have on there.
I love that. It's a dude. That song sounds like "Come as You Are" by Nirvana. That riff
Come.
sounds like that's what.
As You Are.
All
All right, what you got next?
So 80s. I'm going back to my favorite movie by John Hughes, and I'm going with "Shake It Up, Baby." Now, shake it up, baby.
I had it on that too.
And that's a Beatles version
Yep,
there.
yep.
Yeah, so I
So
love
look, that
because
is my 3. No, that's my 4 and 5. I still got another one from
Yep.
that movie that I really
Yep.
do love.
Yep.
Now it's my turn, and I'm glad you left it. And Scary Pops, I thought you were going to give it away, but I'm going to 16 Candles. I'm going with True by Spandau Ballet.
Had that one
I'm
on
going
there,
with True, and I thought you were going to take that one. 16
Yep.
Candles. It was the only song from 16 Candles I had on here. And what's funny is when I did Chat GPT today, because you know I do Chat GPT all the time, just kind of get like the year and when it was done and maybe the quote, but to try and when I did it, it said, "This isn't a John Hughes song." And I had to tell Chat GPT, no, it is definitely when they were at the dance, they were dancing to True Spandau Ballet. And he was like, "Oh, thank you for the update. I will update my database."
You updated AI. You updated
Yeah.
AI. Wow.
Let's go. Let's
What a
go.
I love that. All right, Alex, we're back to you you get 2. You get a back-to-back
We get
pick.
2.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Mess Around, Ray Charles, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah.
Yep. So
More Ray
that's
Charles.
that's the song I had from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Dude, I
What
mess
is-
around.
Yeah. And he gets a seatbelt stuck. Yeah, it was perfect. Perfect.
Dude, that scene, let me just say this. That scene when that car blows up is one of the funniest scenes in the history of movies. When oh my God.
They're in the glove. They're in the glove box. They're in the glove
Yes.
box.
Yes.
All right. So there you go. That's one. Let's see. I have another. I have quite a few. Fire in the Twilight by Wang Chung from Breakfast Club.
Now that was my other one from the Breakfast Club. So my Breakfast Club is out. 16 Candles is out. Pretty in Pink is out. Weird Science is. Oh, I still got one hanging on. Man, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is gone. I might have to go back to Ferris. All right, well, it's my turn.
It's your turn.
And I'm not going to Ferris.
Okay.
I am going to go to a movie that hasn't been mentioned yet. I'm going to National Lampoon's Vacation, and I'm going with Holiday Road. Holiday Road, man.
I love that.
Love me too. Yep. I sing it every time I go on a road trip. The first thing is you're loading the car up.
All right. I don't think we mentioned this movie yet, so I got to put this on there.
You're going the wrong way.
How does he know which way we're going?
Melissa Whip, welcome to the show.
What's up?
Another friend of mine, classmate from high school.
Awesome. Love that, man.
Welcome.
All right, I get my last two. Guess what? I actually didn't run out of picks here, so I don't have to scrounge for some picks.
You're going to nail it. You're going to get all your four?
We get them in here, right? So I'm going to a movie we haven't mentioned officially yet. I think somebody talked about it in the comments in the chat. But I'm going to The Great Outdoors and give me Yakety Yak. Don't talk back.
Yep, it was on mine.
I love Yakety Yak. That's such a great song. Yep. I see. It doesn't make the top four because it's a great song, but I can separate it from that movie. So, but anyway, great song. And then for my last one, why not just go back to the best movie of all of them?
Don't do it.
I'm thinking Donka Shane.
I had that one on that one.
Shane from Wayne Newton.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yep,
that's a good one.
We could have mentioned the whole soundtrack. We already said that.
Yeah, because I'm going to, because it's my turn now. You took Wayne Newton. You took the whole parade scene. Good job.
No, I did.
Congratulations.
Good job.
But I'm going with March of the Swivelheads by The Beat.
Yeah, good one.
Which is another Ferris Bueller song. Dude, that whole soundtrack is off the
Dude, there's so many other good ones. I'll wait for Alex to say his last one, but we could keep going with just these movies.
So all 7 of mine have made the show.
I love it. That's awesome. There's more that we didn't even mention yet. But all right.
I have more. I have more.
I have one more. I have one more that didn't make it.
Okay.
Wait, I thought no.
No, you're up. Yeah, Alex, you're up.
Am I up?
Okay. Alex has the last pick. You have the last pick.
This is Mr. Irrelevant. Oh.
Okay. Oh yeah. So my last one. Yeah. Yes, it is.
I love it.
Polka by Gus Polinski.
Yes.
The King of the Midwest and the Kenosha Kickers.
You never heard of the Kenosha Kickers?
We were big, right?
So let me just tell you something. For years, I used to cross the streams with the Dave Froman, Sausage King of New York, in this quote. I used to do it all the time.
He's the Sausage King of Chicago. Get it right.
Chicago, yeah. But I would cross him. I was like, this is because I was thinking Candy was at it, and he was the polka guy, and it was the other way around. I messed it up all the time. The polka. Yeah, dude, awesome. I love it.
So, side note, what city were they stuck in at that airport?
Was it St. Louis or Kansas City? No,
neither of those. It was Scranton.
Scranton.
You know, yeah, believe it or not, The Office, Scranton. There you go. So,
which here's another one. Scranton Wilkes-Barre is the minor league for the Yankees. Just letting you know.
I don't pay attention to them.
Yeah, I know you don't. You should. They're in first.
I listen. If I only paid attention, I would never be an Angels guy since like 2002. So we're good.
Von Steuben Parade in Chicago. Absolutely.
What are all the other songs too that he's polka. Give me some polka, baby, or I don't know. He says like all these like
it's like this
now
list.
Look,
yeah.
I know we're already done, but there was a couple movies we didn't hit, and I kind of knew that these weren't going to get hit, but I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm not going to name the names, but I'm going to tell you just to go look it up. Go look up Drillbit Taylor's soundtrack.
Also, highly underrated movie, but I remember it. Joe Mantegna's in it. Baby's Day Out is a fantastic movie.
Which was, I think, if I'm not correct, I think that might be one of John Hughes' last movies before he jumped to doing something different. Like that was the end because it didn't do very well. And then he moved into
Drill Bit Taylor came out in 08, and I think he passed.
Right, but he was in Drill Bit Taylor. He was in a different part. Like he wasn't the director. He was like the writer or whatever, the producer.
Right.
Yeah.
But
great pick, man.
And yeah, great. Go look up Drill Bit Taylor's soundtrack though. It's freaking phenomenal. It has a lot of stuff that is newer, like Eminem or Outkast are on it. It's pretty awesome.
What about, and I'll just say this because I can make up the rules, and I'm giving you another one that almost made the list because of the scene that it's in, from Ferris Bueller. Please, please, please let me get what I want is from when they're at the art museum, which is
that
such
scene is cool. But
cool
the
scene.
other one that I had was Edge of Forever.
Yeah,
that's another one too. Yeah.
All right, well, look, man, that's been our show. Thank you guys for hanging around with us. Alex, man, it's been so great catching back up with you. Welcoming all your friends. Man, look, don't be a stranger. We are on every Friday night. I know it's Thursday night tonight. My son has a ball game tomorrow night. So whenever life, family, or ministry get in the way on a Friday, we bump it up to Thursday. But we're always live on Thursday or Friday. We guys welcome to be here and join into the crowd. Let me tell you what's coming up next. So next week is a special edition episode. We are going to have our largest crowd yet. Andy was a metal and punk and ska. I think they did a little bit.
Yeah.
They did a couple other things. Band, and this particular band had like 7 members over the course of the time, and they're called Invoke the Nightmare. And Invoke's going to be on. And here's the crazy thing: the main thing they did was metal. In death metal and screamo and whatever, but we're going to talk guilty pleasure bands or guilty pleasure groups, which is going to be phenomenal. I already have been working on my list. I'll just throw this out there. I went to most hated bands in the history of the world, and I'm picking my favorites off of it.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, because there are some out there that are hated for no reason.
I'll share it next week, but to give you a little preview, I'll share it next week. So come on the stream next week. I don't have guilty pleasures in the sense of I don't feel guilty about any of the music I listen to. Like that's everyone else's opinion. But so formulating this list is difficult. I have to think about, like, from an outsider's perspective, what would people think? They would see me and they'd be like, why are you listening to that? That's kind of what I'm thinking here. So
thank you, Farrell. Thank you, Inferno. Thank you, Two Boys and Scary Pop. Thank you for hanging out with us. But let me tell you, right after that, next week we're having the band. And then we're going to finish off music series, which is 2 months now. It used to be 1 month, so I can't say music month anymore. It's music months. We're going to finish off with another podcast. And he chose 90s country songs.
I love it.
And we're going to give our top 90s country songs. And if I'm being completely honest, this would be my Rushmore of country songs because I only like the 90s, basically. And, not that I don't like the new stuff, but my favorites would be in the
2000s are very good too.
Yeah, the 2000s got great stuff, but my favorites are going to be in the 90s anyway. So that's going to be the next show. And then we are jumping in to movies. May the Blockbuster Be With You, which started in May. And we have a great lineup. We have 2 of the actors from Five Nights at Freddy's coming on. We have a stunt man who was in Stargirl. He was in several other things that you've seen or at least heard of. He's a stunt guy from here in Atlanta. He's a ministry friend. He's gone out on the streets and served the homeless with me. Cannot wait to have Ben on the show. We're going to have Dope Smack on the show. There's a movie and a comic book that he is making right now. He is New Orleans' first superhero. He's a convention guy with us. His name's Joe Mexican. He is the creator and owner of Dope Smack. We're going to have Misadventures of Team AJ, which are some guys, which is a couple that is in New Orleans. They are killing the game and New Orleans content, and we're going to have those guys on. We're going to have 2 Christian creators, Next Gen Nerd is coming on. He's been waiting to get on here. We're gonna have what the pop culture podcast on. I think what the pop. Anyways, we got a long list of people that are coming to join us, and we're already lining up nostalgia. Nostalgia, I've mentioned out to you guys, Farrell and some of the other guys. If you guys want to join the show, hit us up on the Instagram. That's the best way to contact us. I'll send you our welcome letter, and you kind of see how we do the things around here. And yeah, we'd love to have you on and love to collab. If you're a Christian creator out there and you want to help us with Nerd in the Word, by all means, join in with that and message me. But we're already thinking about the next convention set of shows and next year's shows. Sports is coming up in September and October. Got some folks like Zach and those guys lined up because they're all card collectors, Chance, Boggs, all those guys want to jump on. And then we're going to finish the year out with food and find some good food creators and get on here. And Alex, thank you for bringing me down this holiday road of memories. We've been meaning to get connected again with the crew. We had a Zoom call when Zooms were cool right around COVID with everybody that was kind of in there. Rosie jumped on here for a little bit. Hopefully, if he's still out there, Rosie, if you're still out there, I love you, brother. But we Diker and Thomas and gosh, there's so many. Mark and who else? Melissa and yeah. And so just a bunch of people that were out there with us. But you guys are all welcome too, man. So what's going on in your world? What are you looking forward to, Alex, coming up?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's going to be May pretty soon. It's going to be summer in Wisconsin. Very busy with whether it's kids activities. I mean, we have 2 kids, so you're talking about softball. I'm talking soccer and swim, and then band, and then I have my daughter's going to be a freshman in fall, and so it's kind of going into that next chapter. Okay, what are we doing next?
Yeah,
and so
my middle daughter is sophomore.
Yeah,
sophomore.
Yeah.
So I'm about 1 year ahead of you with her. But then my son, you guys saw him earlier. He just made 9. So
yeah, my son turns 11 in May. So yeah, it's once again, it's just kind of it's been fun being back in the area here. Reconnect, like I said, you saw Melissa, the other Melissa on here earlier, Whip. I've known Melissa Whip for years. And so it's kind of fun to be reconnecting with people back after you step away for 20 some years, right? So you're reconnecting back in an area and in the people in the neighborhood as well, just kind of reconnecting and just figuring out where those ties are again. So it's nice. You go out, you live your life, you do things out here, you come back and then now you're here establishing yourself again. So it's fun. One of the things I was going to say as we talked about this, one of the subject matters, things about the subject that I was like really interested about, we talk military, right? Is that, for me personally, movies like Ferris Bueller, Breakfast Club, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, they do have a special meaning sometimes, I think, more for military, in everybody, but I think on the military side, it really hits a lot more is because, it talks about the message of, a motley crew, right? Coming together, getting to know each other, not judging people. We always joke that, whether you go through basic training or military school, everybody's in a uniform. So what happens when you take that uniform off and you look to your left and your right and everybody looks completely different from you? And you're like, wait, how are we hanging out? And so those are like, when you look at this in these movies, it is about accepting others that are different from you. It is about being there for friends, whether you are a Cameron, whether you're a Ferris. Who are you to that other person? Because you could be a Ferris one day or a Cameron the next day. And so I think these movies are so important as you grow through, but also for the military, because you have to adapt to so many different people and situations like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, right? Trust me, anything in the military is never easy. It's never a direct line. It's always like 3 or 4 different ways to get there. And so when a movie like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, you just sit there and you go, yep, I've been through this, and you kind of go through it. So that's why I think for these types of movies are enjoying that shared experience on that journey with others. And I think that's why it speaks so loudly especially people that were in the military at one time.
That's awesome, man. I love that. I love that we can, as youth pastors, we always pull messages from movies, right? And maybe more that's not quite just at surface level, right? Like we try to find that underlying theme and stuff like that. Or when we do our reboot stuff and our Nerds in the Word, like that's absolutely what we're doing too. So the fact that you could find movies like this that they're not military movies, right? It's not like it's this war movie or anything, like Mulan or anything.
Right. No.
I'm waiting for Kirk to react to that. But you can still find that message. You can still kind of find your own kind of niche in that too, which is really cool. So I love it.
And thank you once
Bill
again.
Key's in the house, smoking, bro. We're just shutting it down a little bit. But man, Bill, we want Bill to come on the show as well. He's a game guy. If you like gaming, he does a whole bunch of other stuff. He's a part of the Louisiana Con world. Hey, I was just going to show you these, Alex.
Yeah.
I left. I think it was Dr. Maki actually gave me these.
I do. I remember that too.
And man, I'm writing a book. Oh, look, you want to zoom in a little bit? Yeah. So I'm writing a book, and one of my characters is actually named Maki because he made such an impact on me. I love that guy back in the day. You know what? Not to shift gears, but you mentioned the military. One of the things that I learned that kind of just ticked me off when I was out there and was I was kind of taught to hate the people of Iraq and all foreign, not foreign people, but the people that were fighting this, like, you're against us. And I was really nervous when I went over that time. It was my first time getting out of the country. It was my first time going to fight for our country. It's the first time to do all that. And when I showed up, Dr. Maki kind of took me under his wing. And just to help you guys out, he was a guy that left from Saddam's reign, lost several people in his family killed by Saddam Hussein specifically, and moved to Dearborn, Michigan or whatever. And then he came back to work for the United States to be a translator. And he worked in the Nell Corporation as a translator. And with that being said, he taught me the ways of what was really going on over there in the major media. The major media would tell you all the people who were getting killed and how much Iraq people hated us being there. And then you would meet Dr. Maki, and he'd be like, this is the story he told me that changed my life. And then we can say goodnight. But he said, most people live in a room. Their house is as big as a room in your house. And they are, in our culture, if you have one wife, in our culture, you have more than one wife. And of course, that's a choice that you can choose. But I can't deal with my one wife much longer. But in their culture, you have more than one wife. And if you have more than one wife and you have a child with one, you have a child with the other. If you have a family growing with one, you grow a family with the other, or there's something wrong. And so when they have one child, they have two. When they have two, they have four. When they have four, they have eight. And they live in this room, and it's just part of their culture. And then what ends up happening is these guys will come, the enemy, if you will, the real enemy, it's under Saddam's reign. They say, hey, we got Americans here, and I will pay you $10,000 to kill the next American that comes by. And the thing is, $10,000 to them is like $1 million. And then you think, oh, okay, well, it's against your morals or for your morals or whatever. And so they get these regular guys to go and do this. And usually they don't do it on their first try if they're new to this. And what they do is they shoot one of their kids or they threaten one of their wives. And then they say, okay, now it's $8,000. You're going to do it. And then eventually they go and do it. And we go, the whole world of Iraq is out to get us. But these guys were living off of beans and rice. And when he told me that, my whole perspective of what I was doing out there just completely changed. And I wasn't even a Christian then, but I started to go, gosh, I love these people. And I remember my man that I'd always mess with, I gave him a shower. I bathed the dude. I'm not even kidding you. I made him get in the shower, fully clothed, and I washed this dude because he had never had a shower. You remember that dude?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, he smelled of vomit and the worst. I'm like, bro, you
Yes.
got to get in the shower. You got to
Yes.
clean yourself. And it was just so impactful. And I met so many people and so many friends. Being an Air Force guy with Army and Navy and whatever, it was so cool. And man, I'm just so appreciative of that time. And it's some of my best stories when I share with my kids. I was like, man, I went there and I helped make the Iraqi Army. It's crazy.
In a lot of,
And I only had a snippet, a thumbnail, a little bit of that because it kept going on for years. I was following it for years, like what's going on over there. And
well, and I was, the funny thing is about all that too is it really was a organization or team that was thrown together on the ground. And a lot of people never, I mean, we laugh and we joke about it, but a lot of people didn't know what we did. And now we talk about it in circles because people go like, well, who are you with? I'm like, I honestly was part of an organization. I mean, we're part of an organization that doesn't even exist anymore. It's not even on the books. It existed 20 years ago. It doesn't even exist anymore at this time. And so it just makes it that much more special that we were part of that snippet in time, making such a change or laying a foundation. That, you're right. If a book is ever written, I'm sure, it'd be a bestseller. We just got to find the time to write a book.
Well, I'm writing a book too, but it has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. I'm writing a children's story.
And Alex, I am going to write that book, but my book has more to do with me and my testimony and where I came from.
Right.
You can't tell the ending without telling you the beginning, and that's obviously a part. And so, there will be snippets of that time frame in there for sure.
Well, look, guys, we still have 5 people staying with us. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Hey, love all you guys. The 5 out there are probably all of Alex's friends. Trying to give him a big hug and tell him thank you. Melissa, thank you for being here. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Leave your top 4. Stay with us next week. Find us on all the social medias down low. If you want to be on the show, hit us up on the Instagram one. That's the best. And man, we love you guys. It's time, Andy, to bid these 4 folks adieu.
All right. Well, let's say goodnight like we always do. This is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about that's you right there. Yep, you. It's your top 4.
And nothing more.
Peace.